I just got back from a 10-day vacation. I'm just joking. There was no vacationing. Actually, what I did for the last 10 days was take care of my daughter recovering from a tonsillectomy. She is away at college and she needed a tonsillectomy. So I traveled back to Kentucky to give her some recovery support. Anyway, she lives with my best friend while she's at college. And my best friend's birthday was during the time of said recovery. So Ashley Falco, the queen of parties. I love a good birthday decoration theme or party or anything else like that. I mean, we didn't really have a party. It was just me, my daughter, her and her husband. So it wasn't like a party. But anyways, I created the coolest Taylor Swift themed birthday party. DIY the entire thing besides the cake. I bought the cake. But I do want to show you how I made it all because the entire thing is so cool and you can utilize a lot of what I made for the Taylor Swift birthday for like any other birthday. So if you're looking for like a long tutorial on whatever it is that I make during this video, let me know in the comments of this video because I am down. We are going to be using my 24-inch printer to make a banner and some Taylor Swift cutouts. And then I'm also going to just buy stuff on Amazon and create the coolest birthday banner using things I find on Amazon. Are you ready to see the end results of this Taylor Swift birthday party? Mind you, I am not a Swiftie, but the bestie is. So I gotta make sure and make her happy. Let's go. Okay, so the Taylor Swift album inspo that I'm going to be using is the Taylor Swift Taylor's version 1989. So when I have that in mind, what I'm going to do now is head over to another internet browser and I am going to search up the font that is used for this album cover. Now, generally, when I look for fonts that match, I just put in a simple Google search like what I did here and it would have popped up. But for some reason, I was having a real tough time trying to find this particular font. So then what I did was it's just Google like Taylor Swift 1986 or 1989. And I was just going to do my own edits. So the reason why I chose to do it this way is because I actually need a 6 and not a 9. And a 6 is just a 9 upside down. So I'm going to do the edits in Canva. I am going to be using Canva for all of the banner and cutout projects because it's super easy to use. So after I found the 1989 thing for Taylor Swift's album cover, went over into Canva and I created a canvas the size of the finished product that I want. So it's going to be a 24 by 36 inch canvas banner that I'm going to use my 24-inch printer to print on. You could also print these, like send this over to like CVS or Walgreens if you needed to, but I have one here at the house, so I don't need to send it anywhere. Anyway, so after I got the size canvas that I needed, then I just uploaded the 1989 Taylor's version and did a little bit of editing, removing the background, cleaning it up a little bit, and then isolating the 9, copy and pasting, turning it around upside down so it's a 6, and then adding in, instead of Taylor's version, added in Kim's version because it's for my best friend and her name is Kim. Okay, and then I tried to font match Taylor's version, what is on the album cover, to Kim's version, and I couldn't find it again. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure the reason why I'm having such a problem with this is I guess this is actually Taylor Swift's handwriting and not like a computer generated one, but whatever the case may be, I just chose a font that matched. Then what I did is I found the background that is used for her album cover, inserted that into Canva, did a little bit of edits trying to isolate the birds and things like that to make it look exactly like the album cover. If you know anything about me, you do know I love everything to be matchy-matchy, or at least to look as real as the original as possible. So it did this. I just want you to know that it took me a total of 45 minutes to just design this banner. It's wild. Okay, then the next step onto this process is printing the banner. Now, before I press print, I have to add in the paper. This is the first time I'm using this printer at all, since I've moved. I'm going to be using a high quality canvas for this just because it's going to be a little bit more durable. My bestie is a hoarder and loves to save everything, and doing it on canvas will help her be able to make it last longer. After I get done setting all of it up, then I'm going to head over to Canva and save it as a PDF because that's best for printing. And then open up the PDF file and just press print on my computer and let the printer do its printing. This is what the final banner looks like, and it turned out absolutely amazing. Okay, now what we need to do is go back into Canva because I need to create the foam cutouts for this project. And just like what I did with the beginning of this project, I'm going to utilize Google. I swear, Google is my best friend. In the search field, I just put like Taylor Swift full body. I particularly want to make sure that her feet are in the picture just because it seems like it's more realistic when it's like a full body versus like half cut off. So anyways, I find some really good silhouette pictures of her with like the background already removed and she's just like in a black backdrop or whatever. So I find the ones that I want, copy them and paste them into Canva. And I am going to be using the same size as my poster, 24 by 36. I'm going to be able to get 2 cutouts on 1 page print, which is perfect. I don't have to do any other editing besides removing the background. Once I remove the background, then I just resize them to the size that fills up the page. And then we're going to find another cutout or picture of Taylor Swift. We're going to repeat the same steps. Okay, so I am not going to be using Canvas for the cutouts because it's not necessary. So it's really easy to exchange the paper out of the 24-inch printer. So I'm going to take out the canvas and I'm going to insert this it's a thinner type of paper but it has the quality of like high photo paper, not high gloss, but like a matte photo paper. And it's on the thin side. So anyways, I'm printing on that. I do know people that own the same printer as me have like a high gloss vinyl paper or printable vinyl decal. I do not use that. I don't think it's necessary. And that cost is like way more expensive than what I use. So I just use what's more cost efficient. Then going back to Canva, we are going to do the same thing that we did earlier with the Canvas poster. We are going to download it as a PDF because it's best for print and then print it from the computer. Then we wait for the printer to get done printing. And this is what the final print looks like. And I have to tell you, this looks amazing for not using the printer for like 2 months while we were in the middle of a move. This next step is definitely optional, but I do think that it makes the final look of these canvas banners so much more finished and professional. I take some double-sided high tack tape and I fold down all the edges of the canvas and stick them together with the tape. Again, this just makes it look a little bit more high quality, definitely optional. However, what I do not find as an optional step is to getting like a brad hole punch, a metal brad thing. So I only did the tops. You could do all 4 if you're going to hang this outside, but it's going to go inside, so I didn't do it. But anyways, I put a hole punch in the top corner of both corners of the banner, and then I did a little metal brad to reinforce that corner just so it doesn't rip. Now, technically this is canvas and it shouldn't rip, but again, we're going to go with like it looks a little bit more high quality when you do it this way. All right, it's a new day and another craft. So for this portion of the project, I'm going to take my print and we're going to put these on foam. We're going to foam mount them on there. Now, again, this is like kind of goes back to why people use the vinyl is because it's just going to be like a peel and stick versus I'm going to be using glue stick and the process takes a little bit longer, but the price for these is so much cheaper. So I like to be as most affordable as possible. Okay, so step 1, all you have to do is cut out your cutouts. So I'm just going to make them make a border. I don't want to do this nice and tight. I do want to leave kind of like a buffer of white border just so it looks nicer. So we're going to cut out both of the cutouts that I've printed. Then I'm going to take some foam. This foam I get at the Dollar Tree plus 25, well, maybe it's a Dollar Tree plus 75 cents now. I did hear that they raised their prices again. You also can get these at Walmart. I believe Walmart has them cheaper. I'll link them in the description of this video. But anyway, taking foam in one of my cutouts, I am going to heavily saturate my cutouts with glue stick. I use glue stick for all of these. The reason for that is the glue stick is not water-based. Oftentimes when we use like cardstock glue or Elmer's glue, you know, that liquid stuff, your prints will start to ripple, or even your cardstock. If you're doing a cardstock project, your cardstock ripples and then it ends up looking nasty. Well, getting yourself a glue stick and will help alleviate that rippling. I love the particular brand of glue sticks that I use because the grip on the glue stick isn't like Elmer's glue. Because you know how like when you use Elmer's glue, the stuff doesn't actually work. This stuff works so well. So I heavily saturate the backs of my prints and then put it onto my foam. And then I'm going to use my brayer. You probably have seen this being used on a Cricut project. I use it for this too. It has multiple different functions. So I use that to just roll on and getting out any air bubbles or wrinkles or anything else like that, making sure that we have a good adherence between the foam and the print. I am going to do all of my gluing first. And the reason for that is I want the glue to be fully dry before I actually cut it out, just so you don't tear your paper when we actually cut the foam out of your cardstock or out of your cut the foam out of your cutout. Okay, so let all of that dry. So then when all of it's dry, what I do is I go back to the very first one because the first one's been drying longer than the second one. Then what I do is I have one of these hot X-Acto knives. They are the best thing since sliced bread for these projects. They help the project go a lot smoother. Plus you get cleaner cuts, like butter cuts. They will singe your fingertips off. So be very careful when you plug this bad boy in. You're going to see that I have like a set of pliers to tighten it up. That's what you want, because if you try and touch it with your fingertips, you will burn your fingertips off. Ask me how I know. It's because I've done it before. So learn from my mistakes and don't burn your fingertips. So when it is piping hot, it only takes like 10 seconds. Then what you want to do is you want to do deep movements, like swipes. Don't like try and chisel at it like a serrated knife. You just want to do long, clean cuts, making sure that you go through all the layers of the foam. And then once you're done with one, it really goes by really fast. Once you're done with one, then just cut out the second one. And then if you want these to be like self-standing things, you can make your own cutout thing. But you also can buy these little self-standing tools. I like these. They look a little bit more professional. When I did have an Etsy shop, I would sell like these foam cutouts, and these would like break down. They like fold down so I could ship these cutouts. If you were just doing this at your house and, you know, didn't want to order them, I would just make my own with the leftover foam sheets that we had. I've seen people do it both ways, but I just prefer the things that break down. Okay, so for this portion of the project, I'm now in Kentucky because remember, I traveled to Kentucky to help my daughter heal from her surgery. She ended up having a tonsillectomy. Anyway, this is me in my rawest form. I have to be very transparent. At this point in time, when I was making this banner, I probably was on 2 hours of sleep in 7 days because my daughter's recovery was rough, y'all. Also know all that applesauce that's over there at the bottom left corner of your screen. It was the only thing my daughter could eat outside of popsicles for the entire time of her recovery of surgery. So as per usual, and what a normal mom would do, find something our kid likes to eat, we're going to buy it in bulk. And that's what I did. So anyways, everything that I use for this portion of the project everything that I use for this entire project will be linked in the description of this video. But just to give you a little backstory, or, you know, just to give you a little insight, I purchased 2-inch foam discs, and then I purchased 2-inch black letters. I would highly suggest getting larger foam letters because it's pretty teeny. The 2 inches, I was like, when I unboxed this, I was like, whoa, these are really small. 2 inches is tiny, tiny. So definitely get like maybe a 3 inch foam disc and then doing a 2 inch letter because what I had to do was cut the letters down to fit the foam discs. Kind of a pain in the butt, makes it a little bit smaller. Don't suggest it. Then what you need is really long embroidery needle. This will help you string everything along so much faster than a short one. It came in a pack of like 3 or 5 or something like that. I don't know what in the world I'm going to do with all these really long embroidery needles, but you know what? For this project, I got everything that I needed to make things seamless. So, long embroidery needle. I got some pink and purple with some pearly white foam pit balls. They come in all different sizes and shapes and stuff like that. Sizes, colors and shapes. So I purchased ones that my best friend, it's her favorite color is pink and purple. And then you're going to need like a fishing line, a clear fishing line on the thicker side because this is a heavier banner. It's actually one of the heavier banners that I've ever made. So making it a thicker, heavier duty gauge wire will make sure that it doesn't break. Plus, then it like actually ends up being easier to tie to where I'm going to tie it. Then when I was done making my banner, I did forget to mention that when I added the vinyl stickers to the foam discs, I did it on both sides because these things are kind of top heavy. And so what I didn't want is for like the foam disc to rotate and then it would be naked on the other side. So I did do the letters on both sides of the foam disc. Luckily, the vinyl letters are pretty affordable, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But anyways, find a place to hang your beautiful banner. Did the happy birthday first. Then I had to get changed and go over to my best friend's husband's work. I ended up putting the cutouts and the canvas banner in his truck because we were going to take my car somewhere and she would not leave me alone. And so I had him like run outside and do a good switcheroo. So I had to pause real quick, change, go to his work, pick it up, come back. On the way home, though, I did grab a cake and then I set up the foam cutouts and the banner. And this was all done within 10 minutes of her coming home from work. So, phew.
Now that I've shown you the end results, are you going to make the same exact Taylor Swift birthday decorations like I did? Or are you going to take what I did and make something different for a different theme that you have in mind? You let me know in the comments of this video. And also if you want me to do like a full length tutorial on anything that I did and slow things down, because I know I went really fast, let me know and I will totally work on something for you because I think everything just turned out so good. I'll see you on the next one.